Hello. Welcome to another episode of Living Well Today, where we explore mindfulness, resourcefulness, resilience, creating beauty and harmony in our work and our life. I'm your host, Angela, and we're coming up on Independence Day tomorrow. So, what we're going to walk through today, I believe, I know it did for me, gave me more freedom, which brought me more ease and contentment. We'll talk a little bit about today our subject matter. By the way, our title of episode 40 is satisfaction. It's an equation. We're going to talk about that equation. We're also going to talk about what is the difference, and there's actually a pretty distinct difference between satisfaction and contentment. We'll touch on that. Okay, and why both are important. Satisfaction's short term. Contentment is more of an ongoing state of being. Um, in our fast-paced world, like, why are we talking about this satisfaction, contentment stuff? Why am I doing this show at all? Because we are a part of and contribute to a world that is fast-paced, swirling around us, and also a culture that promotes a cycle of always wanting more, always reaching for what we don't have. And satisfaction comes from appreciating what we do have. And it requires active appreciation. It's not a fly-by-night once a month thing any more than I'll eat well to support my body and brain and blood and cells. I'll do that. I'll eat well once a month. How's that? The other 29 days or so, whatever. Junk food. But the one day, right? So active appreciation and building an ongoing muscle for it, habit for it. I do have notes for today because there are a few really important points that I want to make sure that I cover. And sometimes my dear friend reminds me, he'll say to me, okay, Angela, bring it back, rope it on back in, darling. Where are we going with this? Because sometimes I'm on that, downhill slope with so much momentum and ideas and so much excitement and direct experience and enthusiasm with what I'm talking about. I can I can get off purpose a bit in my storytelling. So I want to stay on purpose. So I have notes today. Let's start by defining active appreciation. I do want to share with you a particular quote from Rabbi Shaktel, very wise man, who said, the trick of life is not getting what you want. It's wanting what you have. And that is a very big switch. And people toss it around like it's so casual and simple. And conceptually, I guess, in statement, it is. But it takes a lot of reframing and a lot of patience and trust and work inside, showing up for yourself and holding yourself accountable to get there. And it doesn't mean that you won't wobble in and out of it, but to be able to recognize it and bring yourself back into that appreciation and taking stock of what you have right now. So, active appreciation, it's about actively recognizing and always valuing the good stuff around us, the things we've created, the things that have been gifted us. And it usually could be in the littlest of things. Certainly it could be your home or your partner or your work in the world. Absolutely. Big, big things, right? Your money, your children. Yes. The act of appreciation, though, is almost like literally the menu of everything that you see, taste, feel, smell around you. I all of it, all of it. The soup that you're swimming in, all of it. Can I wake up every day, and as I go through my day, almost as though it's a walking meditation throughout your day, of practicing and using that appreciation muscle? Because here's the equation, okay? And then we're going to break it down. The equation to real satisfaction, in my experience, and I would love to hear, whether you're watching this live or on replay, I always love to hear, get your emails and your DMs and texts or whatever. You called this one really great piece of info or insight from this, or you loved this piece of music, or you love this quote, or whatever it might be. So I always love to hear your, what's your perspective? What's your direct experience on this? Please share, tell me, help me learn more and more. My experience is that as we take stock and as we build up and put more and more in our appreciation jar, think of it on a scale almost of balance. As we do that with appreciation, what happens if we at the very same time mindfully reduce the longing? Now, desire and longing are part of being human. It's part of your co-creation process. If you are living, breathing here with me now, you're walking this earth, desire and creation and expansion is built into your DNA. The universe, I did a post on this earlier this week, or I think late last week, is that what is true of the big is true of the small. And in this case, we're the small. Hear me out. And what is true of the small is true of the big. And so when we think of we know now, we didn't know this. At one point, there were lots of people that thought the world was flat. We now know that the universe is continually growing, expanding, infinitely expanding. More and more stars and galaxies being born, far more than we could ever possibly count. So if that is true, and the universal law of what's true of the big is true of the big and small in reverse, and that is a universal law, then we will always be expanding. We will always be growing, whether it feels that way or not, because the hard lessons are actually where most of the growth comes from after that hard lesson. So it's like the big storm rolls through, and then when the sun shines again, everything just like explodes, right? That's nature. That's us. So if you're always going to have desire, you're always going to have longing. The balance of it all, the mindfulness comes in around managing that longing and not allowing it to drive the bus. Because if it does, there will never be enough. You will always feel lack. You will always feel not enough. You will always feel like you're receiving the short end of the stick. And that's a crappy way to live, friends. It just sucks. I mean, sorry, but it just, who would opt in for that? If you want to continue to tell your story as a victim and as, you're scared. I learned this week from Carolyn Miss. So powerful. She says, when someone comes up to her and says, I'm scared, well, I'm scared. She says, yeah. And she won't accept it as an excuse. So I heard that and I made a decision. I am not going to be scared anymore. I can do this. I can do whatever I set my heart to. I can. And you can too. And so if you want to feel like the hero rather than the victim, if you want to be, Indiana Jones in your own movie, you got to step up, friend. You have to step up and you have to realize that you can make choices, choice by choice, appreciation by appreciation, building that muscle, building on what you have right now. And in the loving of it, in the codifying of it, of the recognition of it, of giving it attention, which is love, it, it gives you more. Here's my promise. If you practice this muscle for 3 days, 3 days, you will find more to appreciate. You will feel more appreciative. You'll be happier. You'll be more satisfied with the project you're working on, the people you're working with, however your teenager spoke to you today. You'll feel more satisfied. The number one, and this is not a digression, I know it will sound like this at first. The number one reason people leave their jobs is because they're dissatisfied with their boss. They can't stand their boss. They can't deal with it. Can't deal with it. Now, that's a dance. And I won't do that's a two-person dance, and I get that. But I'm going to tell you, you can control 80 to 90% of how you feel about the circumstance with your boss. It rests in you, not in them. If they're doing something or doing a behavior that's triggering something in you, that is a mirror back to you. That is showing you are highly dissatisfied with some aspect within you that feels incomplete or in lack. And I'm going to tell you, loves each one of you. I so want this for you. I so want more and more of it for me. Is that the ease at which, like, just instantly everything relaxes when you reduce the size of the longing. Okay. So how do you do that? So you up your appreciation, you reduce your longing, that feeling of, it's just at arm's reach. You pull back and you look at everything that's in front of you, and your satisfaction quotient goes up. And as your satisfaction quotient goes up, each and every project, even each and every interaction, at the completion of a goal, at the scale this morning that you stepped on, okay? You wanted to lose 3 pounds, you lost 1. That's fantastic. Celebrate the 1, please. While recognizing, oh, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You're not letting yourself off the hook of saying 3 was important to you. You're letting yourself off the hook of the guilt and shame and the feeling of not enoughness, the feeling of lack, of I'm not good enough. I didn't get there. So I talk about this often, the difference between intentions and goals. And I work more to have intentions in my day-to-day feelings. I will set a goal that is very specific by a specific date. And that is helpful because that's like a roadmap to your brain. Subconsciously tells your brain, get to work. That by such and such a date, I want this to be in place like this, to look, feel, sound like this. So you want to give yourself those instructions, but then you want to let it go and live in the energy that gets you there. Because if you live in the energy of, I'm not there, I'm not there, I'm not there, I'm not there yet, I'm not there, I'm not as far as I want to be. Why am I still so far behind? Oh, you know why you're still far behind? Because you're stupid, because you're lazy, because you don't have the talent, because I don't know, you're ugly, because you're overweight, because you're not worthy. All of that self-talk. And you will talk yourself right out of that goal. You'll never see it. You'll never realize it. So intention is contentment. So while satisfaction is more to do with the short-term feeling you get so that you don't feel like you're living in the gap all the time between where you are and where you want to be. Contentment is a commitment, a mindfulness, a practice of an internal faith and an internal trust that I am taken care of, that I am in partnership with something that is far more powerful than me, that I am open and I am ready to do the work and I am showing up. Damn it, give me the work, show me the way, and I will be that. And the contentment is, oh, I am so blessed that I understand where I am, who I am, and that I'm on my way, and that my most important treasure is my peace. My most important treasure is my well-being. And nothing, no job, no being right about something, or I must vote for this politician because I must watch the news, because I must engage, I must warn this person, I must tell that mother she's not reprimanding her child properly. I must, whatever, all of that stuff that you tell yourself that stirs up discontentment, a state of lack of peace, just leads you down a shadowy path of suspicion and mistrust and blame and all the very low energy things that can't possibly, short term or long term, bring you joy and love at the highest level. Okay, so what do? So appreciation isn't just a feel-good term. It's not a once-a-month thing. It's a daily, moment-to-moment practice of recognition and intention to that which we are grateful for. And we can apply it daily in our lives. So, and that active appreciation, as I said, will transform your outlook. It will begin to shape and color your moment-to-moment experience so beautifully, so softly, so lovingly. I'm like, the emotion is welling up in me in a positive way, because when you make a choice in your life, and you do have this choice every minute of every day, when you make a choice to see the beauty, despite, I could walk out and I could go looking for the ugly. I could, and I bet I could find it. You know why? Because you find what you go looking for. So I choose in this life, and I hope forevermore in all lives, to always choose the beauty, to always choose the love. And beauty is love, love is beauty. So what are ways to practice this appreciation? Well, you've heard of journaling. We've talked about that. You can just actively, literally go around and say to yourself, you could say it out loud if you want to hear it. Like, I like to hear words. It affirms things for me and the way my thinking system is. You can just go around. You can say it in your head. You can write it down. The writing it down is a really wonderful way to connect the conscious and the subconscious mind. Have mindful moments. Take intentional moments throughout your day and when you're sitting to eat or snack or have a cup of coffee. Love the smell. I so appreciate that I have this moment to myself where I can sit and do this for me, just for me. Um, you see a stranger on the street, a musician busking, they're playing their heart out. Whether you like how it sounds or not, they're showing up in the way that they can for where they are. Honor that. Show them kindness. Show them you appreciate that they're showing up and doing the work. The person in the last night I was on a walk. I go for 2 or 3 walks a day now. I try rather than going. It gets so hot in the summer. It's hard to go, for an hour or so in Florida. I don't like to sweat. I know. My trainer in the past, Delmar, he has said, "Honey, you gotta sweat." I said, "I'll go in the near infrared sauna to sweat, detox." But I don't. In my day to day, I don't like to do it. So I try to do 2 or 3 times. So last night I'm walking, and there's this really beautiful young woman dining by herself. I can appreciate that, and she's just stunning. And I asked her if she'd ever eaten at the restaurant before because was it good? And I'm on my walk, and she's way over eating al fresco, right? And we just struck up the best conversation. She lives right down the street from me. I don't know that we would ever be friends again or ever bump into one another again. But in that moment, in that exchange, there was beauty and kindness. And that shifts. So as you shift it for yourself, you shift it for the whole world. Everyone says, "I want to change the world." Change yourself, then you change the world. Okay, so if you want to codify appreciation, keep some kind of tangible record of it. Keep that gratitude journal. Have an appreciation jar. Have a little piece of paper and write down one word on that and stick it in your appreciation jar. And at the end of the week, take a look at all the bright spots, Yeah. Create a vision board. We've talked about this many times, right? Go through and categorize and organize all the photos on your phone. And one of the things we're going to talk about is digital detox for greater satisfaction. But, organize those into folders. First of all, the organization feels super good. And you're creating space and order. So you all automatically feel more order inside of you. That's how it works. Same thing when I advise you to go clean out the junk drawer or your closet or get the junk out of your car, right? That organization or lack thereof is a reflection of and can support you or not support you, whatever's going on in your head and inside your body. So those are a few simple ways. So let's talk about reducing the longing. So while appreciation focuses on what we have, it's equally important to address our desires and our longings. Yeah, I wrote that and I'm like, yeah, because it's the excessiveness that leads to the dissatisfaction, not the longing itself. It's like anything. Have a glass of wine, but don't drink a whole bottle, right? If you want to have a glass of wine. I don't even know the last time I had a glass of wine. And you all know me, like I have a really lovely wine collection, and I've been all about wine and wine pairing. And my friend Elena, who I just spoke with yesterday, who is an advanced sommelier, she's going to be reeling in her seat right now. I just don't feel great after I drink wine. And as I get more and more in tune with my own body, I realize more and more what sets it off in the wrong direction. And it's coming back to that, like is it worth losing satisfaction? Like you get a moment of satisfaction, maybe in the taste, then you pay for it like all the next day, even one glass for me. So start making more and more conscious choices. When you have a longing for something, you have a desire to buy something, because shopping is a real thing. Now, I have a love for beauty and textures and colors and that shiny new toy. I totally get it. And there are still moments where I get yanked back into a little prison around that. And I'm practicing It's part of today's episode. I am practicing asking, getting conscious in that moment before I make that purchase and say, is this something I want? It's like a temporal kind of thing that'll satiate some kind of momentary need. Or is this something I really need that will really build something of purpose and longevity and add to my life experience? Really? Or is it just going to take up space? So begin making those discernments. That reduces longing. Or I used this example a few weeks ago in a previous show. If, if your budget is constricting at all and you feel it, okay, I have to be more mindful. I have to bring this into balance, my inflows and outflows, because of whatever dynamics, okay? Instead of buying 3 dozen roses for the house, buy 3 or 4 single roses, put them about the house, and do it with love and intention. And mindfully say, I'm honoring where I am, and these are beautiful just as they are. It's nuance. It's always nuance, right? Makes all the difference in the world. Small wonders, big joy. Episode 37, I think, or 36. So mindful consumption, that's what it's called. The next time you go to eat at a restaurant, can you skip the appetizer? Can you order a half portion and share with your partner? Can you just drink the water? It's just saying, I know I want that. I really need it. And by practicing that, you get stronger and stronger at it. It won't feel totally at home at first. Rarely does anything ever in change, but you'll get there. So practicing contentment, recognize when you have enough, when you already have enough, and that is just a temporary urge. It's just an urge. I just had a disagreement with someone, and so I'm going to go eat a cookie because that helps me feel better about what I was just feeling a minute ago. Instead of just, I feel crappy right now because I had that disagreement and I don't like anything lingering like that at all. What can I do that serves me, that doesn't sabotage me and push sugar in my body? What can I do that's a finer choice? And here's the thing. Those little choices, the minutia, otherwise seen as minutia. I'm learning this more and more. The little choices is the stuff of life. It is the stuff of grace. It is the stuff of a life well living, a life worth living. Because those little choices teach you trust, that you can count on yourself. And start with the little ones and watch. They'll get bigger and bigger. You'll have more and more courage. You see how all of this feeds as a whole system within you and around you. To sum it up, appreciation, codifying that appreciation, active appreciation every day, and mindfully reducing your consumption and the longing to consume something more. By that practice, you will foster satisfaction to a level you've never, I can almost guarantee, never have experienced before. I'm checking time. It's 12:30. I want to stay on time. So I want to share, I've talked at times before about the different spiritual and religious texts. And I'm not a theologian, don't know loads and loads about it. I have some friends who, Rasaji, he can maybe not recite the Bible, but he can tell it to you front and back. I can't do that. So I'm not pretending that that's the case. But when I look at the different holy texts, and that doesn't, I want to reference these properly. So that doesn't matter whether it is in Christianity, in Islam, in Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Taoism, the message around satisfaction and contentment is the same. This is what is so miraculous about those holy texts, is that the universal laws cannot be denied. They cannot be denied. So I have learned, this is from the Bible, I've learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. Another from Timothy 6:6, but godliness with contentment is great gain. In the Quran, so verily with the hardship there is relief. Verily with the hardship there is relief. Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. Sound familiar? Okay, that's the Quran. Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. Well, we hear that in all of the religions, do we not? All of the spiritual practices. Buddhism. Health is the greatest gift. Contentment, the greatest wealth. Faithfulness, the best relationship. Happiness is the result of peace of mind. Verse 331. In the Bhagavad Gita 247, you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, nor be attached to inaction. All right, meaning you are the conduit, you are the channel, you are responsible for showing up and demonstrating the goodness that flows through you. But trust, it is not that flow through you that is solely created by you. You are the vehicle, friends. We are the vehicle. In the Talmud, in Judaism, it says, who is rich? He who rejoices in his portion. In Taoism, in the Tao Te Ching, chapter 33, he who knows that enough is enough will always have enough. He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough. So, the key difference between satisfaction and contentment, satisfaction is a feeling that you experience at the completion of something, at the reflection of something, and you can give that to yourself moment to moment, minute to minute, by increasing, appreciating what is in front of you, what you're seeing, feeling, smelling, tasting, experiencing. Appreciate it. And reducing your desire to say, but it's not enough. What I see there isn't enough. No, can't do that, because you just nullified the enoughness. Okay? Contentment is an ongoing commitment internally to be at peace, to be in a state of receiving, to reflect the godliness, the holiness that is you, that is within you, that you are here to demonstrate and connect for others. Okay? Satisfaction can be fleeting. The very nature of it suggests that it is short term. moment to moment, when you string those pearls together, you have a beautiful necklace. And that necklace is the necklace of contentment that you wear around all the time. They work hand in hand. Yeah, they work hand in hand. So, this final note I'm going to ask of you, one thing you can do today immediately will increase your sense of satisfaction in the things that you created today. Go on a media diet. Tough not to right now, right? With so many videos and stories and the political races and stuff going on in the world. But go on a diet, a media diet. Try, you don't have to just say cold turkey, I'm not going to use any media today. But step away from the screen. Go out and walk in nature. Take your shoes off. Go do your active appreciation out in nature. It's super the easiest place to do it. There's so much. Reconnect. Say a prayer. I may actually do a whole episode just on, well, what is prayer and meditation? What does it look like, sound like? I actually had someone say to me, I don't, and I don't mean to sound, there's no judgment in it, and it's far more common than you would think. I guess I just hadn't stopped to think about it because it's been such a part of my experience for so long. I've been praying since I was, I mean, as far as I can remember, I remember 3 years old having conversations with God, the collective, the universe, source, whatever is bigger, that's certainly wiser than you and me put together. I may do that. I may do an episode just on what that looks and sounds like. But that person said to me, I don't know if I know how to pray. Like I don't do it because I feel silly. Yeah. Okay. There's no wrong way. Hey, hi. Often we tend to look up because we imagine, because it is bigger than us, what we feel or we imagine it to be. It's really it's inner space, it's inner journey to the tiniest of quarks that make up your body, right? Um, yeah, so I think I may do that. So if you enjoyed today's talk about increasing how to create the equation in your life for more and more and more satisfaction, then share it with friends, share it with your partner, share it with your kids. I love Goldie Hawn's program that she's doing for children and teaching them meditation. I mean, do you want a world that's filled with ease and peace and love? All the things you say you want it to be out there? Teach your children how to meditate so that, like those ancient scriptures say, no matter the circumstance, no matter what I have or what I don't have perceivably, I have all that I need. I have enough. And I am where I am. And I am on my way. Teach them that. Have them go on a media diet, right alongside you. Be the example first. It'll be easier for them to follow. Okay, much love to you. Thank you so much for being here. Check out my videos and meditations and things if you can. The words of the week, they really can be helpful guideposts along the way. They have been for me. They're reaffirmations for me. I go back and I teach myself. I use my own things. If I'm having a rough spot, I hit a slick patch that I feel like I might, I'm having a tough time recentering. I'll reach out to people who I know for sure know me and can help me align very quickly. Literally, my chiropractor, acupuncturist, homeopathic, massage therapist, right? My guru, Folly. I'll reach out to them right away. And I'll also go into my toolbox of breathing and journaling and music and nature. Most often it's those 4 things. to help me get back on track. But those words of the week, they help. They help reinforce. They stretch that muscle beyond where it was before, and it never can go back after it's done that. Blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you. Much love to you. And we'll see you next week. Happy Independence Day, and to cultivating more and more freedom within for all.